Hello, welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, I am going to be sharing about the roots of compulsive shopping, and this is part 2 of our series in the roots of compulsive shopping. If you remember in our first part of our series, The Roots of Compulsive Shopping, part 1 we talked about Jamie, how her father loved her like she was a princess, and her mother could care less about her and wouldn't even give her a hug. Well, in this video today, we will talk about Olivia, where she struggles to get her father's approval and has an overprotective mother. But her mother loved her dearly. Both girls developed a shopping addiction as a result of their past home life. Olivia's father was one of the multitudes who disembarked from the commuter's train every evening at 6:30. His job as an insurance salesman was a source of money, but not pride or satisfaction, and he never discussed work at home. Indeed, he rarely discussed much of anything at home. He would hastily eat dinner and retire to his easy chair in the den to read the newspaper. At 8 o'clock every night, the television went on, and he watched it until 11 o'clock at night. Then he went to bed. In the morning, he was back on the commuter train before Olivia woke up. Sometimes the silence in the house was punctuated by angry outbursts. One day, her mother decided to make a special dinner. Olivia helped her prepare filet mignon and an artichoke sauce and a lemon meringue pie. Olivia's father ate the entry without comment. By the time the pie was served, Olivia's mother was seething. Finally, she spoke up. "I don't know why I bother to make a nice dinner when you never notice. I slave at home and you—" He stood up, threw his napkin down on the pie. "Slave? Who the hell gets up at 6:30 every morning and has to work all day?" he shouted. His face was livid. Olivia started crying. "Daddy, you ruined the pie, and I helped make it." "Nobody asked you, young lady. Now shut up," he snapped, and Olivia continued crying. He yanked her up from her chair and shook her shoulders. "I said stop crying. Shut up." Of course, this only made Olivia cry more hysterically. Finally, her father slapped her across the face and sent her up to her room. Later that night, her mother brought her a piece of lemon meringue pie, but warned her not to tell her father. "Nobody asked you," was one of the favorite comments. He would say it both to his wife and to Olivia when they expressed opinions. Olivia grew up feeling that she couldn't trust her feelings or her thoughts, and that her opinions had no validity. In later years, when discussions arose, she would speak up combatively. She was so insecure about her opinions, afraid that people would judge her as wrong and bad as her father had, that she needed to stridently cut down other people's ideas. A simple discussion often became a struggle, but it was actually fear of criticism and judgment that was behind her argumentative style. To combat his surly silence, Olivia's mother would constantly nag at her father. You'll get into an accident if you don't put those snow tires on. We could save some money on vegetables if you would help me with the garden. Put your sweaty shirts in the hamper. I can't stand to pick them up off the floor. The lawn will never grow in if you don't rake the leaves. And so on, season after season, year after year. Usually he would ignore her. Sometimes he would grudgingly obey. And sometimes he would explode in fits of anger. Olivia had to tread carefully around her father to avoid his explosions, and even then she couldn't always escape. She came to feel that the world was an unstable, unpredictable place. He had displaced some of his anger toward his wife by picking on their daughter. Olivia was the middle child, and not only did her older sister and younger brother seem to conspire against her, her father did also. Like all little girls, I wanted to be a ballerina. Olivia remembered. I was a little chubby, but I loved ballet class. I remember when my father came to my recital one year when I was 9. I ran up to him afterwards, all excited in my little tutu. I'll never forget what he said. He said, "You look like a baby elephant. Your mother should stop giving you all that candy." Well, of course, after that, the dancing ruined me. I never went back to ballet school. Olivia tried to win her father's approval by working diligently and doing well in grade school. But no matter how glowing her report cards were, he never seemed to notice. He noticed, however, if she did the slightest thing wrong, like leaving the telephone off the hook or leaving her room even slightly untidy. One of his favorite phrases was, "Can't you do anything right?" Olivia's mother, on the other hand, smothered her. She paid cloying attention to her every activity and was quite overprotective. Although she didn't actually prohibit Olivia from doing things, she created a climate of fear. She would say, "It's dangerous sleigh riding on that hill," or "You could get hit by a car bike riding on that busy street." This added to Olivia's sense of the world as a dangerous place. Her mother imbued every separation with anxiety, leading to Olivia's grown-up dependence on her husband and an inability to be comfortable alone. When Olivia reached adolescence, her father had a difficult time with his feelings of sexuality towards her, and he became even more critical and mocking. "My mother got me my own phone when I was 15, and I used to spend hours on it with my girlfriends. Sometimes my father would overhear me talking about boyfriends, and he would make fun of me. I was so humiliated and embarrassed," said Olivia. He also added to the insecurity that all teenagers feel by criticizing her clothes, her hairstyles, and her boyfriends. One way that Olivia and her mother could have some fun away from the pressures of home was to go shopping. Early on, shopping became a form of escape and release. Olivia's mother would buy her things, and they would often hide them in the trunk of the car until her father was at work the next day. "My father always begrudged everything she bought for me," said I didn't need it, "so we just wouldn't let him know. When asked how much a purchase cost, they often lied about the true price out of fear of his violent reactions." Immediately after college, Olivia married Frank, the first man with whom she had a serious relationship with. Although kind, and well-meaning, Frank found it as difficult to understand and express his feelings as Olivia did. During the course of their marriage, neither partner truly communicated with each other when issues arose. She would vent her frustrations by nagging at her husband and children about little things and by going shopping. If you are a shopaholic or feel you are one, and if you've gotten yourself in debt, here's some advice for your finances. I would go to YouTube channel Zero Debt Coach. Brad Long can direct you with your finances. Brad and I will be working together to help you to be successful. And when you go to his channel, tell him Stop Big Spending or Susan Young sent you there. Question of the day. Have you checked out the root cause of yours compulsive shopping? Feel free to share below. How are you doing with this video so far? If you like this video, hit the like button below. And don't forget to subscribe. I really appreciate that. Now, can you check out my website at www.stopbigspending.com and leave me your email address at the Contact Us page on the website, and I will keep you informed on our next videos. See you next week here on YouTube, and see you in social media. You have a great week.